Earthquakes are coming back to Comcast Sportsnet California. 12 games, all in high def. First telecast will be on April the 17th over on Comcast Sportsnet California. So John Schrader's going to look even better in HD. And man, he looks good. I've not seen Schrades in a while. We turn to the back page here, and we welcome in Bruce Jenkins is hanging around to help me with the soccer talk. Is this really John Schrader? You look fantastic,
well, thank you, Greg. I appreciate that.
And we know Jim Kozimar. Yes. I love the green you're rocking here, Jim.
Well, you know, Seamus Kozimar. It's not so much because Seamus is James. It's much when I was young, my parents would always say, "Boy, why do you Seamus the way you do?" Oh, Kozimar. I just wrote it that way. You like it?
That's beautiful.
You like it?
So right away,
Bruce is writing my material.
Right away, I can tell when you guys broadcast together, he's going to talk too much, John.
Well,
so how's this going to work? You're both going to be together. You're both predominantly play-by-play guys, but you're going to be the analyst this year, Shreds?
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to analyze the soccer games. I'm going to do my best to tell the people what they are not seeing.
For a long time,
I have,
so you know the sport inside and out.
It's a different, you know, I'm going to teach him soccer.
How much play-by-play on soccer have you done?
I've done a little bit, not as much as John, obviously, but that's part of the beauty of it, is that John knows the game so well. I think I'm going to be able to squeeze every ounce of information that maybe the everyday fan, they might know some, they might not know some of it. I'm glad to be by his side, so I think that's going to be a great team.
We're going to be like the other end of the spectrum from Kruko and Kuiper, you know, two baseball guys doing television. We're going to be two
play-by-play guys.
Two broadcasters doing soccer.
Checks and balances here.
Well,
that's the way we do it here.
It'll work beautifully.
So they have brought a little more offensive firepower in your booth this year, but I'm worried about the team. You know, Ryan Johnson, great forward of the Earthquakes last year. Do they bring in enough offensive weaponry around him to help them score more this year,
You know
John?
what? I think, number one, Johnson has improved immensely. I believe he had a great week and a half in England. He's not a real technical player, but has improved. He's like one of these hardworking guys who scores. They brought in a young man from Argentina named Robles. Andre Luiz is a veteran Brazilian who will help. They're a little bit more deep in the back line. I just would find it very hard to believe they're not going to come out of the gate and play well early on. I think, you know, I think they've added some.
And, John, I think they're also very happy with their versatility. I think they've got some guys that are multi-dimensional, multi-positional. It's a long season. In the event that there is an injury, they've got guys who can move around the field, and that's another beautiful part for this team, is the fact that they've got some multi-dimensional guys. They're not just locked into a couple of guys at every spot.
There are 2 or 3 kids, one, in fact, who was out of college last year named Ring, and a couple, a guy who's been in the sort of second division, Jertson. There's a number of guys here who are going to open some eyes, I believe.
And they're still going to be at Buckshaw Stadium this year?
At Buckshaw Stadium.
Great venue. I've been down there, watched the FC Gold Platter. Not playing there this year, I hear. But we did mention to the audience about the labor situation, and this kind of befuddles me in a league that's trying to carve a niche in the sporting culture of America, John, to be having a labor impasse. But I want to start out our conversation. But Lou Wolf, the owner, of course, of the Oakland A's, also owns the San Jose Earthquakes, issued this statement on the Major League Soccer's labor issues. A strike will be a setback to the dedicated efforts of our players, coaches, management, and ownership in seeking to maintain a MLS team in the Bay Area. Without labor being a cooperative partner, our plans for a new venue and expansion of our youth program will be set back for a period that certainly does not benefit the current or future players. I'm not sure why those two items are related here.
Well, certainly part of the push by all Major League Soccer teams is develop second teams, development squads, academies. So clearly they believe in 2 things, that they need to build continue building the sport from the ground up. That's where all the great clubs in the world, right? All the great clubs in the world bring up their players from their other groups. And also youth soccer players, you know, the players in the community. I'm not sure exactly, you know, first of all, the timing couldn't be any worse, right? For a CBA to come up. Could it be any worse? You know, the players probably legitimately have some things that they'd like to get. The owners still aren't making a whole lot of money, from what I understand. And the economy, you might have heard, isn't very good right now. So I just can't believe they wouldn't defer it. I mean, at the very least, defer it.
But these things go right up to a deadline, and you got to have the deadline here. Explain to me one thing. The owners have vouched not to lock them out, but the players may strike before the year. The one thing that is just galling to me, and I don't understand this in the CBA they have now, if a player in this league is cut by his team, he cannot take his services to another team in the league. He is bound to the team that just cut him for 1 year's time, and they don't have to pay him? That's un-American, Jim. How can they get away with that?
It sounds un-American, certainly, but they agreed to it. Players agreed to it the first time around. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not even going to try to explain it to you, because that's not...
Is that the major issue they have to get back?
I don't know if that's the major issue. Certainly free agency, I believe, is one of the issues the players have. You know, the structure of the league is interesting. The league owns all of the contracts.
You think the players thought it would never come to this? I mean, is that why they agreed to it? They just couldn't imagine that it would actually be an issue?
I think they've been pushed in the corner, and they had to come up with a deadline, and they couldn't believe. And I can't believe even now, as dire as it appears to some, I don't think it is. I can't believe
for sports Brucey, I know you love the sport. You wrote about Beckham today. We got a World Cup coming up in June in South Africa. I mean, for a sport that's trying to carve a niche in this country, could they ever have a labor impasse and take the game away for even a short period of time?
Well, yeah, the fans are going to come back. There may not be a lot of them, but I think passionate fans of any sport will always come back, and it's going to be ridiculous, and nobody's going to be able to figure out why, but I think the people who love soccer will welcome them back.
They hopefully can play, though, because this year is too important of a year just based on the importance of the World Cup.
Yeah, that's right. And you got to tie into the World Cup. We see it every time. People get excited in June. This whole country's going to be excited about soccer in June, and you can't have that awful taste in your mouth of a bad leg.
What's going to be your goal call this year?
I'm going to steal his. I'm not sure yet. We might work as a team.
Who's flattery?
Why break it here?
Flatterer.
Maybe it's a two-person game.
He's not going to give me the goal call?
Hand it off, you know? Yeah.